At exactly 4:02 a.m., my phone lit up with the kind of persistence usually reserved for medical emergencies and drunk exes. By the sixth consecutive call from unknown, I answered, mostly so I could blacklist the number and go back to sleep. "Hello," I croaked. A very awake, very self-important woman snapped, "Mr. Carter, this is Donna Creel, president of the Whispering Oaks Homeowners Association. I am calling to inform you that approximately 100 residents will be using your pool at 6 a.m. sharp. You are required to have it ready and accessible." I stared at the ceiling fan in the dark, waiting for my brain to buffer that sentence. "My pool," I repeated. "Yes," she huffed. "Your pool. The community has voted to hold the Wellness Sunrise Splash event at your property. You are non-compliant on communication, so we have taken initiative." "I am the property owner," I said slowly. "This is not the community pool. This is my backyard." On the other end, I could hear her smirk. "Not according to our revised amenity map. You will want to be careful with that attitude, Mr. Carter. It is already 4 a.m. You only have 2 hours to get in compliance before guests arrive." Then she hung up. Somewhere in Whispering Oaks, a woman had just scheduled 100 strangers to invade my backyard pool at sunrise. And apparently, I was the one being non-compliant. My name is Ethan Carter. I bought the stone house at the end of Willow Bend Court in Whispering Oaks, a two-perfect subdivision wedged just outside Raleigh, North Carolina. It had everything I wanted. Big old oak tree in the front. 3 bedrooms, 1 office, 0 roommates. A detached garage workshop. And, the crown jewel, a modest but gorgeous in-ground pool tucked in a fenced backyard. I am, by most metrics, aggressively boring in the best way. I am an IT consultant who works from home, likes quiet evenings, grills on Sundays, and swims laps at night to clear my head. I have no pets, no kids, no noisy hobbies, and the loudest thing about me is my blender. When I closed on the property, the previous owner slid 1 extra folder across the table and gave me a look I did not fully understand at the time. "That is the HOA packet," he said. "You gotta pay the dues because the whole subdivision is under it, but your lot? Technically carved out as its own parcel 30 years ago. You are in the HOA but your land is special. Honestly, just pay the monthly fee and stay out of their way. Easier that way." I skimmed the documents. My lot had its own parcel number, and a weird little clause written by some overachieving attorney in the 1990s that said private recreational amenities on parcel 27-B shall remain solely under the dominion and control of the parcel owner and are not to be designated as common elements of Whispering Oaks HOA under any circumstances. Sounded great. My pool was my pool. Not an HOA pool. Not a community feature. Mine. That was before I met Donna Creel. Donna introduced herself 3 months later with the intensity of a corporate downsizing. Early 50s, sharp bob haircut that looked like it had a workflow, tennis visor, clipboard as an accessory. She knocked on my door, did not wait for a response, then did that passive-aggressive lean-in. "You must be Ethan. I am Donna, HOA president." She held out a hand like she was granting me an audience. "Just wanted to remind you, we take community standards very seriously here." I smiled my customer service smile, shook her hand, and mentally filed her under manage at a safe distance. For a while, things were mostly fine. I paid my dues. I kept my yard tidy. I waved at neighbors walking their golden doodles. Whispering Oaks did what HOAs do best. Sent too many emails about mailbox paint shades and lawn heights. Then summer hit. And I discovered that water, concrete, and privacy fences are like catnip to a certain kind of HOA president. The first shot fired was a letter. Notice of violation. Unauthorized pool amenity. You are in violation of Section 8.3 of the Covenants regarding unapproved structural amenities and usage. Your pool has not been properly registered as a community facility. I read it twice, then pulled out my deed and the covenants packet. My pool predated Whispering Oaks. My parcel was clearly exempt as a common element. The words sole dominion and control were right there, underlined like destiny. I emailed Donna. "Hey Donna, My deed and the original HOA doc state that my pool is a private amenity and cannot be designated as common property. Let me know if you would like copies. Ethan. Her response came 6 minutes later. Ethan, the board has revised the amenity map to better reflect current community needs. Your pool is now within the HOA amenity overlay. You must comply with all common use requirements. Donna, HOA president. A map. They drew a new map. The next week, I started noticing observation. Donna's silver Lexus would creep past my house at 5 miles per hour, twice a day. I would catch her parked at the corner, binoculars resting on the steering wheel like we were in some kind of budget spy drama. I would be swimming laps at 9 p.m. and hear the click of a phone camera over the fence. One afternoon, I stepped outside to find Donna and another board member inside my side yard, fiddling with the gate latch. "Can I help you?" I asked, already recording on my phone. She jumped. "We are conducting a safety inspection of the community pool. This gate needs to remain unlocked during designated hours." I pointed to the sign I had screwed onto the fence myself. "Private property. No trespassing. This is my backyard," I said. "Not a community pool." Donna gave me the tight HOA smile. "We will have to agree to disagree. The board determines what is and is not an amenity. You are creating unnecessary conflict." After that, it escalated. I got a violation for failing to post community pool hours. A warning for refusing reasonable access to HOA representatives. An email complaining that residents felt excluded when I had friends over for a barbecue by my pool. Rumors started circulating, too. Whisper networks are faster than fiber internet. I heard snippets when I went to get my mail. "Yeah, Donna says he is trying to keep the pool for himself. She said he refuses to let kids in because he is antisocial. She told me the board is considering emergency measures." Emergency measures. Over a pool. Mine. Then came the event notices slipped under my door. Community Splash Day, hosted at 178 Willow Bend, pool facility. Please enter through side gate. Do not disturb resident if he appears uncooperative. I emailed. I called. I sent certified letters with copies of my deed. Donna responded once. "You are outvoted. This is a community." Which brings us back to the 4 a.m. phone call and the announcement that 100 people would be arriving in 2 hours to use my pool. The 4 a.m. call did something I do not think Donna anticipated. It woke up the part of me that gets paid to read contracts for a living. By 4:30, I had coffee, a printer humming, and every legal document related to my house spread across the dining table. I scanned the covenant paragraphs, noted the parcel exemption, and cross-referenced the plat map. Then I discovered something new. That amenity overlay Donna had emailed last month? It was not in the original recording. It was a separate document, recently filed with the county. I pulled it up from the county's online system. The HOA had submitted an updated plat indicating my parcel as a community pool facility, but it was not signed by my name as the owner. The owner signature line bore a scribbled name. E. Cutter. Not Carter. Cutter. They had filed an official document with the county effectively claiming my backyard as community property and authorized by owner's signature. It was not just petty. It was fraud. At 5:15 a.m., I made 2 phone calls. The non-emergency police line. The County Code Enforcement Office voicemail. Then, as a petty little garnish, I called the Fire Marshal's office and left a detailed message about a planned community event with 100-plus attendees being held at a private residential pool not zoned or permitted as a public facility. At 5:58, I dragged a lawn chair into my driveway, set up my phone on a tripod pointed at the house and gate, and waited. At 6:03, the first minivans rolled in. Textbook HOA demographics spilled onto the sidewalk. Yoga mats, toddlers with floaties, dads in t-shirts that said things like Grill Sergeant. People followed a printed flyer Donna had apparently distributed. Pool party at 178 Willow Bend. They clustered at my closed gate, confused, reading my private property signs like they were new. At 6:10, Donna arrived in full command mode, clipboard in hand, whistle around her neck. She marched through the crowd like a cruise director. "It is fine, everyone," she called out. "He is required to open it. The board approved this. He is just being dramatic." She walked up to my gate and rattled it. Still locked. She turned, hands on hips. "Ethan, open this gate right now or I will fine you into oblivion." I stood, waved politely from my driveway, and pointed to the end of the street where 2 police cruisers were quietly turning the corner. "Oh," I said just loud enough for people near the front to hear. "Good. You are right on time." If you have never seen an HOA president's face when 2 uniformed officers interrupt their power monologue, it is spiritually nourishing. The officers stepped out, took in the crowd, then looked at Donna, who was already marching toward them. "I am so glad you are here," she began, jabbing a finger in my direction. "We have a non-compliant resident refusing to open the community pool during a scheduled." One officer held up a hand. "Ma'am, we are responding to a call from the property owner. We will speak with him first." Donna froze. Something behind her eyes flickered, like a Windows error message. The officers approached me instead. "Mr. Carter?" "That is me," I said, handing over a neat folder like a nerdy mic drop. Deed, original HOA covenants, parcel map, and screenshots of a county filing that appears to have a forged owner signature for an amenity change on my property. I watched them read. One officer's eyebrows slowly climbed his forehead. "You are saying the HOA filed this change without your consent?" he asked. "Yes. To reclassify my private pool as a community facility. And then scheduled a 100-person event here this morning." Behind them, parents started whispering. A dad with a cooler pulled his kid closer. Donna stormed forward. "This is a civil matter," she snapped. "The police do not need to be involved. The board has authority over all amenities. He is obligated to share the pool." The officer turned, calm but icy. "Ma'am, if what he is saying is accurate, this is not just a civil dispute. Filing false documents with the county is a criminal offense." That landed like a grenade. Meanwhile, as if the universe had decided to pile on, a white SUV rolled up with County Fire Marshal stenciled on the side. A woman in a uniform stepped out, stared at the crowd, and then at the house number. "Is this the location of the Whispering Oaks Community Sunrise Splash?" she asked dryly, holding up a printed flyer. Donna's face did something medically interesting. "Yes," she said, doubling down. "This is our community pool. Approved by the HOA." The fire marshal looked at my private property sign, then at my locked gate. "Do you have a public pool permit? Lifeguards? ADA-compliant access? Certified chemical logs?" she asked, her tone so flat it could press flowers. Donna faltered. "It is a neighborhood event. We do not need all that." "The board." "Ma'am," the marshal cut in, "if this is being advertised as a community pool under organizational management, it falls under public pool regulations. And from the looks of it, you are in violation of about 12 of them." People started edging back toward their cars. The cop beside me closed the folder. "Here is what we are going to do," he said. "This property is clearly privately owned. There will be no event here today without the owner's explicit consent." He turned to Donna. "And you and I need to have a separate conversation about this amenity overlay filing." For the first time since I had met her, Donna looked small. Over the next 3 weeks, Donna's empire came apart like a cheap patio set in a windstorm. The county clerk's office confirmed the obvious. The owner's signature on the amenity overlay did not match mine, and the document had been filed by the HOA's property management company based on representations from the board. Representations that came from Donna. The county launched a formal investigation into fraudulent filings and zoning misrepresentation. The fire marshal's office filed their own report about an unpermitted public pool event. The HOA's insurance company got looped in and immediately began asking awkward questions like, "Why were you attempting to classify privately owned property as a common area without legal authority?" I did not have to do much. Just answer questions, forward emails, and sit back while the machine turned. At the next official HOA meeting, which I attended out of sheer obligation to the drama, the clubhouse was packed. Neighbors who had once given me cautious, HOA-fearing smiles now stared daggers at the board table. Donna sat at the center, flanked by two board members who suddenly looked like they would rather be anywhere else. A stack of folders sat in front of them. County notices, attorney letters, insurance inquiries. The property manager, a guy who looked like he had aged 10 years in 3 weeks, cleared his throat. As many of you know, he began, there have been serious legal concerns raised about the reclassification of Parcel 27-B and the attempted designation of a private pool as a common amenity. Murmurs rippled through the room. He continued. Our counsel has advised that the filing was improper, that the HOA exceeded its authority, and that there may be personal liability for certain members who initiated the process. All eyes quietly slid to Donna. She clasped her hands, smile brittle. Everyone needs to calm down, she said. We were acting in the best interest of the community. A hand shot up. It was my neighbor, a usually mild-mannered teacher named Carla. You forged his property as shared, she said bluntly. You told everyone he was selfish for wanting privacy. My kids cried because you said Mr. Carter did not care about the neighborhood. Another neighbor chimed in. We almost showed up to that pool thing and put our kids in danger. No lifeguard, no safety measures. The room got louder. The property manager raised his voice. To mitigate damage, our attorney has recommended that we immediately rescind the amenity overlay, formally acknowledge Parcel 27-B's independence, and, he swallowed, remove the current president from her position pending the outcome of the investigation. Donna laughed, but it came out strangled. You cannot just remove me. I am the HOA. A third neighbor, a retired cop, spoke up from the back. No, you are just the president. For now. A vote was called. Hands shot up. Even the board members beside her raised theirs, slowly, like they wanted to pretend gravity did it. Motion passes, the property manager announced. Effective immediately, Donna is removed as HOA president. The gasp she made sounded like a vacuum cleaner losing suction. 2 weeks later, the county investigation concluded. Donna Creel was charged with filing false documents with a government agency, a misdemeanor carrying a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and up to $2,500 in fines. She took a plea deal. No jail time, but 18 months of probation, a fine of $1,500, 100 hours of community service, and a permanent ban from serving on any HOA board in the county. When the judge read the sentence, Donna sat completely still, her hands folded in her lap. Her face turned the color of old newspaper. She opened her mouth twice, but nothing came out. The woman who had spent months trying to control my backyard could not even control her own voice. As the bailiff handed her the sentencing paperwork, her hands shook so badly the papers rattled. She stood, walked out of the courtroom without looking at anyone, and that was the last time I ever saw Donna Creel try to take something that was not hers.